Hey, thank you, Perry. Again, my name is Andy Smith. I'm the inside sales manager with Aspen Avionics. Here, and I'm getting my I'm trying to get my screen to go, but it's not here. It's not doing this. All right, there you go. Inside sales manager with Aspen Avionics here. Here's my contact information, Andy.Smith@Aspen Avionics. So if, again, if we don't get to any question that you may have that come up during the presentation, please feel free to shoot me an email and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Or if you want to talk specifically about your aircraft and your configuration, what system works best with you, please reach out to me directly. So today we're going to do a quick review of the key features of the MAX series displays, both the PFD and MFD, and the different options that we have added to with the MAX versus the legacy systems. How and why the new MAX systems allow you to remove your attitude gyro from your panel and subsequent plumbing with that. Also, I'm gonna touch quickly on the 3100, the Genesis 31 autopilot interfaces and what the MAX gives you, and also the software enablement that we offer in order to give you some extra features with that autopilot. Of course, we're going to go over some pricing and current lead times on our systems. And like Perry mentioned, we're going to follow up with a Q&A session with David and James at the end, answering some of the most common questions and picking up any other questions that weren't answered during the presentation. So here we go. So some of the key features of the displays of the Pro Max is that the internals of this display are completely new. So we went in there and we redid the processor. So it's a brand new processor, new air data computer, new AHRS, new graphics card. There's a new piece of glass on there. And I want to reiterate, this is a brand new unit. Even though the form factor seems the same, every component internally is touched, right? So the bezel and the knobs are about the only thing that stays the same with the difference between the legacy and the new MAX systems. So when you're upgrading, or if you're buying new, it's a brand new system. It's a plug and play system with an existing Pro installation. And by keeping that form factor that I talked about, the plug and play helps you, we help you protect your investment that you've already made. So you don't have to remove all your instrumentation or remove the unit and start all over new. It's literally a plug and play upgrade for going from a legacy Pro installation to a new Pro Max. One of the software additions that we added was the altitude intercept banana, or some people call it a Boeing banana. And what that is it's going to be a little banana, an arc, a cyan arc that is put out in front of your airplane right there. And that's going to tell you when you're going to reach that altitude. And that is derived from your selected altitude from your altitude bug and in relation to your vertical speed. So very handy when you're coming like crossing restrictions or terrain, or just kind of a visual glance. Are you going to make pattern altitude at the current descent rate kind of deal? So it's a very, very good tool just to look at a glance to see if you're gonna get to where you want to be when you want to be. By adding a processor or upgrading the processor, I should say, what that allows us to do is it leaves lots of room for us to add future features and options. Nowadays with the new digital autopilots and other instruments hitting the market, everybody's changing at such a rapid rate, and this new processor is allowing us to do a lot more with our system. If it's displaying more information from traffic or weather or METARS units or METARS, or interfacing with the latest greatest digital autopilot, that's what a lot of this processor is allowing us to do. With the new display comes a new backup battery, and I'm going to go over that in a lot more detail later on. But that battery essentially allows you, because it has a higher capacity in it, and it meets the FAA requirement for a backup battery. I forget the number, the FAR number, but it meets that requirement. So that's going to allow you to clean up your panel, be it just your vacuum system or all your instruments. And I'll go over that a little bit more in the subsequent slides. Last, but absolutely certainly not least, and in my opinion, probably the most important addition or improvement we made from the legacy to the new Max system is the dual-aided AHRS. Now, the legacy systems are dependent on pitot input to derive attitude reference. If you lose pitot for whatever reason, icing, bug, water, the line popped off, whatever it may be, you lose the functionality of your unit in a legacy, and this is well documented out there. With the new Max unit, in the event that happens, that unit is able to look at the GPS ground speed and use that as its valid and use that as its source to derive attitude. So it eliminates the single point failure of the legacy instruments that we currently have, which is we're able to do that because of the new air data board in there and software and quite frankly, some other things that I don't fully understand the magic inside the box. So continue on to the features. Another neat feature that we added is the audio panel interface. Now this is the interface that goes directly to your audio panel and it's going to be pumped into your headsets. And there's several different call outs that you're going to get, including approaching altitude, when you reach altitude, and then if you leave that altitude, it's going to yell at you. Approaching minimums, and synthetic vision alerts that include both terrain and obstacle alerts. And then on the MFD side, it's going to give you, we added a timer or countdown timers page, and it's going to give you a timers expired call out as well. A font enlargement window. So any window that's editable on your PFD, we make it about twice as big and put a box around it. So that's with your airspeed bug, altimeter bug, minimums, barometer, and course and heading. So it pops it out and you're really able to discern what you're editing when you're editing it at a quick glance. On the MFD side, we added METAR flags to the navigation map, an AGL readout on the navigation and terrain maps. The chart and countdown timers, I kind of touched on that on the audio panel interface bullet point, but the timers are very handy for when, say, ATC says, call me back in 5 minutes. You can set that timer right there and it's going to yell at you and you're going to remember, I got to call them back. Or for fuel management systems or fuel management purposes, if you got to change tanks or switch tanks. Now, because both systems, so the MFD 1000 as well as the PFD 1000, both have internal AHRS, both have backup batteries, both have independent air data computers, and they're not relying on each other whatsoever. That allows you to remove all your backups from your panel and really clean up your panel. So you could literally have 2 displays sitting in front of you, and because of the redundancy of everything, plus the no single point failure on the pitot and static and the battery stuff, that's it, just redundant after redundant, and we're allowed, or we got it certified to remove all your backups. Some technical information for the dealers on here or the technicians that have tuned in here. The new backup battery does have a increased capacity and meets the FAR requirement. It's 2313 something part H for the backup batteries. Now, not only does that battery have a increased capacity, but because of the new components and the new processor, and the Max unit is much more efficient using that battery. And it also runs a lot cooler, noticeably cooler than the legacy stuff. Now, I get this question quite a bit from dealers when they call. If you got any questions, peruse through that Appendix P of the installation manual. We wrote a whole appendix on what's required and what's not, and how to sign it off, and everything like that, and what you need. So look at that, and you'll be able to determine the legality of the installation and what you can and what you don't need to keep. So going back to the dual AHRS topic here. So on the right-hand side, I know, unfortunately, some of you on this webinar has probably seen this at some point, but if you do lose pitot, you are going to get the red X's of doom that you see here on our legacy system. With the max unit, again, it eliminates that single point failure, and it references the GPS in the event of that pitot blockage, or the pitot blockage, or whatever happens to the pitot, the loss of pitot. You will lose the airspeed tape, obviously, but you will still get the ground speed shown there. The ground speed is at 141 knots there, and it'll show you, so you'll be able to keep reference of that. And you're still going to be able to keep your HSI running, or your attitude, and your altimeter is always going to be there. So it's a huge jump, this dual aided AHRS with the new processing power, the software, and the new air data board in there. It's just something that we've talked about doing for a long time, and we finally did it. I'm glad it's out there. So with the Evolution 2000 system, so that's the PFD 1000 and the MFD 1000, and the Evolution 2500 system, which is the PFD 1000, MFD 1000, and then the MFD 500. It adds that third screen, the 2500 system. This allows removal of all backup systems. And that's because of the redundancy you get with the MFD 1000 with the AHRS and air data computer and all that backup battery. And the backup batteries are on all three displays if you have a 3, and of course the PFD and MFD will have the backup batteries. In fact, the upgrade battery is installed in our E5s, Pro Maxes, and MFDs across the board. The legacy systems, primarily the MFDs with the external battery. So guys out there that have that set up are eligible to get rid of that external backup battery and the weight associated with that. And what we can do is modify the MFD to have the legacy MFD to have this new extended duration battery. And reach out to me or your dealer, and we'll be able to help you determine what the best path is for that. So this is the dash 21 part number is the max unit that allows you to remove your attitude, because that distinguishes it and says this is the display that has the internal internal battery with the extended duration. Now, for a single display, a single max display that is a dash 21 part number, you are required in your panel to keep airspeed, altimeter, and turn and bank, right? That is your requirement for your 3, eliminating the necessity to keep an attitude reference in your panel, an attitude gyro in your panel, and you can essentially remove the plumbing and everything that goes with that. Add the second screen. Again, it's going to have the same part number, the dash 21, and at that point, you can remove all your analog gauges at that point. Now, if you're running a King or Sentry autopilot, you may need an EA100 autopilot adapter. Go ahead and reach out to me or a dealer, or if you have another contact within the company or something, and we'll kind of determine if you need that EA100 as part of the package deal as well. All right, so the 3100 autopilot, I'm going to touch on this. It's one of the industry best autopilots out there right now. Now with the Pro Max upgrade coupled with the Pro Max system coupled with the 3100 autopilot, and just out of the box, what you're going to get from our system is our system, when integrated to the 3100, it's going to give you the indicated airspeed hold and the envelope protection. We provide all the air data information that it needs to do that. You're going to get altitude and airspeed pre-select. All the targets will be selected from the PFD, or has the ability to be selected from the PFD. There won't be any sort of external switching. I guess the installation requires some external switching when you're interfaced with a legacy display. The flight director bars will need an ACU2 and a Genesis ST670 in order for you to get those flight director bars up there. Now, the Genesis 3100 can do a lot more than that. So with the MAX unit and a software enablement that's provided by us, you're going to get everything on the previous slide with the indicated airspeed hold, the envelope protection, altitude and airspeed pre-select. But with the unlock, you're going to get digital flight command bars, so that there's no ST670 required, and you're going to get mode enunciation. So you're going to be able to see the mode enunciations. You can see them across the top there in green. So you're going to get that. In addition, you're going to get vertical speed select as well. So you're going to be able to dial all that stuff in directly from the PFD. Especially the mode enunciations on some aircraft when the mode controller isn't close, or in the radio stack, or maybe in a Bonanza or Baron when it's offset on the other side of the yoke kind of deal. Having these mode enunciations and be able to dial this in right from the PFD is extremely handy. All right, pricing and availability. So on the single screen Pro Max, we're looking at $99.95, and that does come with the new battery in there, and that single screen will allow you to, again, remove the attitude and all the associated plumbing with that from the panel. A 2000 Max with the new battery, which is the dual screen system, is $16,995. And then the 2500 Max, which is what you see right here, adds that third screen, is about 21 grand. Now, it includes all these packages include synthetic vision across the board on all three displays. Now, on the two, or on the MFD or the two MFDs, depending on the package, we're going to give you, as part of the package, as the ADS-B unlock, so that you can display the traffic and weather from a compatible in ADS-B source. And we're going to put angle attack software on that MFD 1000. The 2000 and 2500 systems are considered premium packages. So we add all the software unlocks to them across the board. There's not much else you can add to them. For the customers out there that already have a system or of either 1, 2, or 3 displays, you can upgrade it. It's a trade to new program, which is really nice. So that entails you just going to your local dealer saying, I want to do an upgrade. I want to trade to new. I want the new Max systems. I want the benefits that come with the new Max systems. And they put an order in, and you continue to fly your plane. You don't send your unit in. We don't modify it. You fly your plane the way it is. We send a brand new unit to your dealer. Then once they get it in, they give you a call and schedule with you to come in and do the swap out, right? So there's literally no downtime, or very minimal, less, most shops on a single or even dual, or most shops for these upgrades are less than a day's worth of labor, probably half a day's worth of labor. You'd have to talk to them, but it's not that. The only wiring that they really have to change or add, well, there's no change, but there's an addition. There's the audio wire that they run over that give you those call outs. For anybody out there with the VFR and pilot systems and want to jump up to the Pro Max, it's $49.95 price point. and the E5 to the Pro Max. So the guys out there with the E5 that want to add the extra features, get the synthetic visions, the minimum bugs, dual navigator pointers and stuff, really kind of step it up to a harder IFR, higher IMC kind of platform. It's $29.95. Now on all those upgrades, there in the synthetic vision is included as part of the upgrade, and you're going to get that software enablement as well. Now for the early adopter guys that got the -11 or -12 max units, those are the units that don't have that new extended duration battery. We do have a battery modification kit that we can send to the dealer. It's done in the field by them. It's relatively painless, and they can swap that out in no time at all. And that runs about $600 there. And then that'll give you all the benefits of being able to remove the backups and whatnot, kind of deal. If you have any questions, please reach out to me or even your dealer. All right, this slide is for guys that or customers that have either a single or dual legacy display and want to take the jump and not only go to the Max series but go to a Max and add a display or two displays in the case. So a single legacy to a 2000 system is 12 grand. The legacy PFD to a 2500, the grand poobah of all systems that we offer, is 16,990. And if you're looking at a legacy system and you want that flexibility, you want that additional situational awareness while removing your backups, want to go to that 2500 max systems, that's going to run you 12,990. Now again, just like the guys that bought the systems new as a virgin install, these upgrades, these upgrades and trade-ins all include synthetic vision. They include ADS-B for the MFDs and an AOA unlock for the MFD 1000s. Like I kind of mentioned before, all our systems now ship with the extended duration as a -21, or they all ship with the extended duration battery. Now, current lead times, I know we all live in a crazy world right now with extended lead times, not just our industry, but everywhere around. But for us right now, as we speak, now it's always fluid, right? We're looking at, for new display sales, we're looking at about a 4-week lead time to get you a new system. That's 1, 2, or 3 displays, along with all the components in it with the RSM and ACUs and everything. The trade to new orders for any sort of upgrade program that you guys want to get a part of is a little bit longer, 60 to 90 days. But looking across the industry, that's not really horrible, and it usually aligns with a dealer shop to get you in anyways. Now remember, with those trade to news, even though you're looking at 60 to 90 days, you're still flying your plane because you still have your system installed, right? So you can continue to fly, and I know the weather's getting better. Everybody's going to start to fly, and it's always great to be able to continue to fly while you get a new system. The plane's down for a half a day, and you're back flying that afternoon. So those are the lead times right now. That's of this week, this moment. I don't really foresee them changing too much in the near future, though. So again, here's my contact information. If I have missed anything or the question came up that Dave or James wasn't able to address, please reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to talk to you about your plane or your question. I'll answer it directly. So thank you again. I really appreciate you guys joining me and listening to me mumble through this presentation. So I hope to talk to you, and you guys stay safe out there.
All right. I'd like to turn it over to Dave Wilcox or James Buck to go through any questions we have not been able to answer, and perhaps share some questions that have been asked and answered with the overall group, if that's valuable. Dave, you want to revisit that?
Yeah, we didn't really get a lot of online inquiries. We had about 14 total. Actually, we just had another one come in. Nothing that stands out that would be widely considered by all, but people are asking about the GFC 600 interface. Yes, we currently can work with the GFC 600, but to do the enhanced interface like we do with the 3100, where you get the enunciations, altitude pre-select, all those goodies, that is in the works. That is being actually Garmin is driving the STC side of that, so we expect to have that soon, as it is quite desired. See some other questions here that we had online. Part numbers, yeah. How to upgrade the if you've already got a Max, that may not be the -021 part number, that's the -011. Any authorized Aspen Avionics dealer can order that kit for $595 and perform that in-house. They don't even have to send that out to us to do that. Let's see, people asking if this presentation is going to be shared on the website, and I believe what we're going to do is actually upload it to our YouTube channel. Is that correct, Perry?
Yeah, we're going to upload it to the YouTube channel, and we'll also have it on the homepage of our aspenavionics.com. All you'd have to do is click on the Evolution video library, and there will be this presentation as well as a whole bunch of other videos on there you can use for reference as well. And as soon as that is it's being recorded as we speak, and as soon as that's available, I'll make sure that is posted. And again, if you wanted to see it a little sooner, email me directly and I'll get you a direct link as well.
Yeah, a few of these were technical, just asking, how do I get ADSB, or do you work with the Avidyne ADSB? How do I add AOA? Just generalized questions like that. Nothing as far as would be a generalized question for the, again, we only had 15 total online inquiries, although now we've got about 8 more that just popped up that we're going to have to go back and answer. So maybe we can do a few of these live.
Yeah, we knew these would happen. So yeah, there's 8 more that popped up. So if you guys want to take those, that'd be great.
Let's see, how does the Max unit's failure rate compare to the legacy failure rate? Well, everything's been improved. You're going from a 20 layer board internally to an 8 layer board, so a lot less stuff to fail. We've had really good success with the Max units. Again, they run cooler. That was another question we had on the earlier during the presentation. Let's see, how easy is the battery upgrade from a -011 to a -021? You're probably looking at about an hour, 2 tops due to paperwork. That is a logbook entry. Any plans to add engine monitoring? Not currently, but I believe James is actually answering that one live. I believe we are doing some testing with an OEM to see how that might work out. Nothing official on that though. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So anybody got any questions, feel free to go ahead and type them in. Maybe we can get them answered live while we're here with you.
Yep, there's one from Al. Now, please forgive me if I mispronounced it. Morasco. When will you get an interface for the KFC 150 to remove the altimeter for pre-select? That's one. And then another one from Travis Mills. Where in the install manual can you find the GFC 600 interconnect?
Yeah, okay. As far as the KFC 150 removing the altimeter for pre-select, that is a Barrow thing with that particular autopilot and that altimeter. I don't know that anybody in the industry is going to be able to do that just yet. That one's pretty much a head scratcher for all. I mean, even Garmin can't do that yet, so, or Bendix for that matter. There is an avionics Straubing that is a German company that makes an APS-4 alpha that will, it's kind of a pseudo altitude pre-select. You can use our altitude bug that's built into our system from day one that will allow you to set an altitude, and 15 seconds prior to obtaining that altitude, it will trigger altitude hold on the autopilot, and it'll level off at that altitude. So that works pretty well, to get you by until one of us figures out how to get rid of that altimeter that's required. The GFC 600 question, where did that one go, Perry? I don't see that one on here again. Oh,
I think I answered that one. That the GFC 600 interface would be called out in the GFC 600 manual, not ours.
yeah, that's correct, because they are driving the STC for that.
And that also brings up another question about the 3100. A gentleman was asking about enunciations. So any of the enunciations that display on the Aspen that are associated with the 3100 should be in the 3100 AFMS. You should have got some type of documentation that has like all the warnings like that somewhere in there. If you did not get that, I would reach out to your dealer and Genesis, because that's part of their documentation as they did the STC interface. Yeah,
correct. There, and again, with the 3100 interface with the Max 2.11 and unlock, that is an STC that is owned by Genesis / S-Tech. So that documentation should come from them. You're correct, James.
I know that there was a question about the 55X versus the 3100. I flew the Aspen Enhanced 55X interface in my Cirrus for a few years, and it is a great interface. So if that's working, yeah, would you spend the money on a 3100? Oh, maybe not, because the 55X interface, enhanced interface, is really good. But you have to remember that's an analog autopilot, the 55X. The newer digital autopilots really fly systems like they're on rails. I have a DFC 90, which was the first digital autopilot, and the difference on an ILS, a coupled ILS, compared to an older analog autopilot is amazing. And plus, with the 3100 versus the 55X, you get some really awesome enhancements as far as flight safety envelopes, is preventing autopilot stalls and stuff like that. So it's a much nicer system. I think the 3100 also has a straight and level button if you do get disoriented. So really nice additional safety features.
Yeah, Mike Haley, I see you sent in with a TrueTrack with your Max. Yeah, so we now have that 2.11 software where we actually output quite a few more AirInc labels that would be beneficial to the TrueTrack autopilot. I did speak with one of the gentlemen over one of the original guys over at TrueTrack that is now with Bendix King, and sent them over all that information and I believe you will probably see an update coming from TrueTrack or / Bendix King here in the near future, where they're going to add that capability to it to take, to fully take of all the benefits that the new 2.11 output. So touch base with them and see, because again, we've sent that over to them. They were very curious. They got a lot of calls on it, just like you're sitting here, emailing us or asking us about it. But I think that's going to come soon, and you're going to see a lot of benefits to those new labels that we're outputting now.
Just one thing here. I'm seeing some folks actually typing some questions in the chat, and so I'm just going to address these really quickly. Or I'm going to actually read them, and I'll let you guys do the tag team there. But we have Jay has typed in the chat box. I have just installed E5 in my Skylane. What do I need to do to upgrade? And let's see. And he got the new E5 in August, and he's got the TrueTrack autopilot, and he says works great now. But he wants to know how to upgrade from E5 to Max. This is how I.
So the upgrade process is actually fairly simple. It is just as easy as a software update. However, we are basically, when you do the E5 trade to new, we're actually sending the dealer a brand new Max display, and we just take your E5 back in a trade. Current cost on that is $3,000, $2,995.
Yeah, eventually we're trying to go to a point where we can let the dealer do this, software only. Obviously, the FAA has to sign off on all that, but so we will, like James said, we'll trade out your display and your config module for 3K, and it's not a big deal. It literally can happen within a few hours.
Yeah, the only difference between the E5 installation and the Pro Max is the Pro Max has audio. And so your shop would have to run one wire from your existing E5 connector to your audio panel. And as Dave mentioned, swap out the config module. And Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, so if we're swapping out the config module, they'll have to do a recal of the compass, correct?
That is correct. Yep. So everything else they can go in and just either write down or take pictures of the configuration. That's not a very long process. Reswinging the compass system, depending on where their compass rose is located, you're maybe looking at a half hour to 45 minutes to perform that procedure. So not a lot of time involved.
I see a question. What's it cost to add the MFD to make your PFD Max a 2000 Max? Current cost on the MFD 1000 is $8,495, and that does come with synthetic vision as a free standard unlock now.
Okay. Do you guys see more coming in here? I'm seeing them kind of trickle in here, so.
Yeah, you can't really X them out when you're answering them live.
Yeah. I think we captured most of those, and then folks, I think what we can do here is the ones that we didn't get to, you see Andy Smith's email address and contact information up on the screen. I highly recommend you email Andy with any specific questions that we have not addressed. Again, we do our best to try to address everyone's question live somehow, and sometimes it's just not possible, but please reach out to Andy Smith. Again, his email is up on the screen, and I want to thank you for attending today. And again, if this will be posted on Aspen's website, if you were to go to aspenavionics.com, scroll down a little bit on the right, there's a box that says Evolution Video Library. It'll be posted there, and that library links to our YouTube channel. So you can also look us up on our YouTube, and you'll be able to find the webinar as well. And again, I thank you for attending today. Andy, James, Scott, and Dave, thank you so much for participating, and we hope to hear from you soon.